Have you found that there's commonalities between the two, or they're on different planets? And what are those commonalities, if there is some?
Oh my gosh, Andy, I'm so glad you asked that question, because this is something that I witnessed this in real life, like so tangibly. So a few years ago, I was speaking in Zurich, Switzerland, and I was speaking alongside of Steve Wozniak, the co-founder of Apple. Tremendously successful guy. I mean, tremendously successful guy. And the following winter, I was speaking alongside of Shaquille O'Neil in Canada. They both, when we were talking, I was asking him questions about like a similar thing, like, how'd you know this was your venue? How'd you know sports or basketball, or how'd you know technology was your jam? Both of them said very much the exact same thing. Steve Wozniak was talking about how he and Steve Jobs, who are, the infamous garage that they both created Apple in, right? Everyone knows about the garage. It's the metaphor, but it's actually a real thing that happened. He said, like, we were tinkering around for this afternoon. All of a sudden it got dark. It was maybe 11 o'clock at night. And I looked over to Steve Jobs and I said, wow, what do you think about that? And he goes, I don't know. I guess that was a lot of fun. Should we do it again tomorrow? Yeah, let's do it again tomorrow. That's how Apple started. It was a lot of fun. Should we keep doing this? Because it was a lot of fun. I mean, they weren't trying to create $1 trillion company. They weren't on outcome. They were on purpose. And Shaquille O'Neil said the same thing. He said, listen, if I don't feel giddy with excitement, if I don't feel joy before I step on the court, I don't belong on the court. He goes, you bet I'm nervous, but if joy's not the underpinning, if that's not the thing that's really driving me, I don't belong on the court. And I think that's really interesting. You got Shaquille O'Neal, arguably top 10 basketball player in the whole world, easily. I mean, in a presence, he's huge. He's magnanimous. He's got a smile that lights up the world. He's joy. Steve Wozniak, not same type of effervescence, Andy, but a similar understanding of technology for him. The inception of what Apple wanted to be was connection and joy. So you got two very successful people, both having joy be the purpose that drove them. They were never on outcome, ever. Joy was the purpose, and they said, I'm going to keep doing this. This gives me joy.
And then, just Andrew, me, when I was walking down here this morning, I have a really nice walk to work. I walk through Hong Kong Park, and some mornings I'm working, but this morning I was like, no, because I'm going to interview you on the podcast. I was walking down here, and then, I always go through these, holy cow, I'm interviewing, so you today. I was like, wow, holy cow, I'm interviewing Dr. James Rouse today. What am I going to say? And then I had these moments of, whoa, what if it goes quiet? What will I say? Those for me.
Sure. Yeah. Like, what? Holy goodness. What if we have nothing to talk about?
Yeah. But then I just come to this place where I'm like, yeah, you'd be a dickhead to do that, because it's not about me. It's actually about you and about people that get to listen to this podcast. So all I have to do is be curious, and that's pretty easy because you're an amazing person. So all I have to do is just be curious. So don't worry about all that other stuff. Just shut up, listen to James, lean in and be super curious. And then I'm sure everything will be fine. You're going to be fine. You've done this 78 times, 80 times before, whatever it is. When you're working, let's say, when you're working with a Shaquille O'Neal or a Steve Wozniak or someone that maybe is what I experienced when I was walking down with you. I think you're amazing, James. And when I look into your life, you've achieved amazing things. You've worked hard and you're courageous. So it's, again, that meritocracy, you got to where you deserve. But you've done some really cool stuff. Like I'm walking down to work going, yeah, this bloke, James in Colorado, this cool stuff. And it's selfish benevolence, mate. Like I say this all the time. Like I get so much out of these conversations. So genuinely, thank you so much for sharing your time with me, your sacred hour as well. But I'm filling my cup, you know what I mean? And then hopefully other people get to fill their cup as well. But do you ever have those moments when you're sitting down with, air quotes, us Shaquille O'Neal, us Steve Wozniak, or someone that has achieved a lot of success, and it doesn't have to be, but just say you be Andrew and I'll be I'll be James. Do you ever have those moments still, or just because you've done it so many times?
No, God, if you say you don't have those moments, you're full of shit.
Hmm.
And you need to get different work if you don't have those moments. Because once you become stale or so full of yourself that there's no room for curiosity, you should change your line of work.
Hmm.
And I'm a big believer that the only time, and it's interesting, how do I keep the curiosity into a channel of discovery and not let the fear and the other stuff take over, is when, to your point, you said a moment ago, and you so eloquently, you're very, you're obviously incredibly gifted at speaking and sharing stories. I mean, Andy, you said it so perfectly, right? I had to remember curiosity is my purpose. Okay, that's my jam. I'm going to be curious. Oh, okay, I'm on purpose. It's only we're on outcome. Like, how's it going to turn out? What are we going to talk about? I wonder if people think it's going to be interesting. Once we get in there, the ego starts to fill the space. I'm a big believer. I shared this with my kids a number of years ago, but I have kids that are 21 and 26. I've got kids that are out in the world doing amazing things. They're both amazing human beings. Um, I spent some time, as I said, in India, Andy, Nepal, doing some things. Really get into meditation. Love the whole experience. And I said to my kids once, we were talking about, like, you know, what is enlightenment really? And I said, well, enlightenment is your ego's greatest disappointment. That is what it is. It's your ego's greatest disappointment. And it's when you're so beautifully on purpose that you've literally edged your ego out of the way enough where all you really are here to do is serve something greater than yourself. End of story. Serve something greater than yourself. The way you showed up this morning, I'm curious. You and I, obviously, right out of the gate, we're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be easy. Why? Because we love life. Why? Because we love to serve. We're both clinicians. We love to serve. But I think also you have an effervescent about your curiosity that says, how am I going to channel this into the weaving it in the next chapter of the fabric of who I am? I'm the same way. I'm going to walk away and think about you, the surfer, you, the world traveler, you, the person who left Australia, a beautiful place, came to this, urban place, deep urban place of Hong Kong, because you were led to do this. I'm thinking about this. So we've got this interesting thing, and your listeners, your viewers are going to go, where am I not curious anymore? Am I curious with my spouse anymore? Why does my marriage feel like it's just kind of average? I've probably lost curiosity. When did I stop wanting to be interested and let my ego want to be interesting? Key distinction. These are all the things that I think we all have to ask ourselves throughout our lifetime to make sure we don't get too soft, too full of ourselves, and get ourselves too egocentric about how's it going to turn out.